Welcome to part 3, where we work on the stretches that will improve your flexibility and give you better range of motion for your knees. It's a good idea to stretch warmed up. You could warm up by going for a 5-minute brisk walk or doing some dynamic mobilizations like I show in the first few minutes of the video that I've linked in the upper right hand corner. With this routine, you're halfway to bulletproof knees. Click the link in the first comment to continue with the full program. Now let's get back to the knees. Now your knees don't exist in a vacuum, so your ankles, your hips, and even the health of your spine can greatly influence what happens in your legs. So if you'd also like to see some exercises that can help with your back health and your hip health, as well as shoulders and upper body, let me know in the comments and I'll create a series to help with these areas as well. All right, so the first stretch that we're gonna do is a calf stretch. So as I mentioned, your ankle dorsiflexion, the amount that your knee can go forward depends on the amount of range that you have in your ankle. We already did an active exercise for that in part 1, but now we're going to do a passive stretch, which is really going to improve. I'm going to show this on one of these things? A slant board, how to do it. But if you're at home and you don't have a slant board, you can just take your foot against a wall, like so. That's how that would look. Or you could prop it up on a yoga block or something like that so you can get into the stretch. So I guess maybe I'll show it on the yoga block so you can see what that looks like. And we're just going to hold for a minute. So as you're holding, start to think about contracting the quadricep muscles to put even more stretch. And then change sides. Instead of letting your butt hang back behind you, engage the buttock to some degree to where you can bring your hip forward to stack over your ankle. If it's too much stretch, then lower your block a little bit. I have this nice little lip to hook the block on, so that comes in handy. This slant board, though, is an excellent tool, and you can pick one up for around 30 to 40 bucks. If you could afford one, I'd highly recommend grabbing one. Good. Now I'd recommend pausing the video and doing one more round so you get a total of 2 minutes. The next stretch that we're going to do is a hamstring stretch. And if you have a slant plank, you can add ankle dorsiflexion at the same time that you're stretching the hamstrings. But if you don't have the slanted plank, you can just go feet flat. And we're going to hold for a minute. Feel your heels, your big toe mounds and your little toe mounds reaching down evenly into the ground. Notice if you're favoring one side or the other. See if you can balance in between your 2 feet and in between those 3 points. Then bring the shins upright over the ankles and the hips upright over the ankles. And the last part, if you start to acquire the hamstring flexibility too, you might be able to lift the kneecaps. That's the final stage. But as you're working on the elephant walk stretch mobilization, you might just have your hands up here, and that might be enough stretch for you. You might even be working with a little bend in the knees. So just find what feels appropriate for you. All right, now let's come to our hip stretch. So you're going to actually, best to do this one at the wall so that you can relax better. So you're going to scoot your buttock close to the wall. How close, that depends on your hip flexibility. But you're going to start with your, let's do the stretch for the left hip first. Cross your left ankle just above your right knee. Ankle bone is on the outside of the leg. My right leg is straight up in line with my hip. My hips are down on the ground, whole spine, whole back is down on the ground. And then I slide this leg down until I feel a stretch. Now right here, I feel about a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. That's where you want to be at. You're not looking to go a 10 out of 10 in sensation in these stretches. That's too much. You're going to pull something. When you're doing the exercises, you can push hard as long as you're feeling it in the muscle, not in the joints. But when you're stretching, you want to be able to relax and breathe. So if you're feeling you're going towards a sensation to where you're sacrificing your breath, or you're moving up to like a 7 or 8, your nervous system isn't going to respond as well. We want the nervous system to feel like it's okay to be in this position, so your body actually relaxes into it. So maybe at the end of the minute that you're in it, you feel like you've gone from a 5 to like a 2. That would be really good. And then when you go for the next round, the second set, you can try to go a little bit deeper and get to that 5 to 2 mark. Let's release. Yeah, I didn't really feel much at the end. I'm going to change legs. This hip is just a little bit tighter, so I don't have to slide my left heel down as far down the wall. Here we go. So right now I'm at a 5. I can breathe, I can talk fine. My hips aren't lifting up off the ground. I can stay relaxed. And practice breathing in and out through your nose. Slow, steady breathing, especially focusing on the exhalation. Now I feel that the stretch has gone down to like a 3. And now we're about a 2. Let's do one more round. Oh yeah, now I can go a lot deeper on this second round to get to that 5 mark. And then I'm to about a 2. Change sides now. And release. All right, now the last part is going to be for the inner thighs and the adductors and the groins. And I like to do this standing. And you might want to do it with your hands at a table or a wall. if you haven't practiced any stretching like this, but you're just going to go to, again, where you feel the 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Be there and breathe. So it might not look like mine. Don't force it. Now that we've been here for about a minute, I'm going to show you a technique that I learned from the kin stretch method. What we're going to do is implement an isometric contraction in this end range. After we do the contraction, we hold, and then we relax. We're actually going to be able to go a lot deeper. So it's kind of cool. So I want you to start by pushing your feet down into the ground and squeezing and then pulling in to the midline so you can feel your inner leg start to squeeze. How much? Maybe about 50% effort. Not too much where you feel like you're going to hurt anything. So your safest, greatest effort. Pushing down, squeezing in, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7. Maybe you can ramp it up just a little bit higher, maybe 60 degrees, 60%. And then take a deep breath in, let it out, and relax. And now maybe you can go a little bit deeper and still find that relaxed sensation of being out of 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. So that's kind of cool. You could then repeat that, hold there, do the isometric again, maybe find a new end range. Now just remember with stretching, we want to be patient. We don't want to force our body to go into an extreme range right away. We have to build on it just like we would as we built with the exercises in part 1 and 2. Hope you found these stretches helpful. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. And again, if you'd like to see some exercises for other parts of your body, hips, shoulders, etc., let me know. And the body works together. So as we improve the lower body, it should help with the upper and vice versa. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.